What's going on YouTube, and welcome back. Today we're taking a look at this guy right here. The mini pressure bar from Real Orbit. You can pick this up for $59.94. A little bit of a weird price, but with the conversion from Australian to USD, you end up with that 94 cents. I picked up the polished CU version, and as you can tell, I've been fidgeting with it for quite a bit because it's developing quite a nice patina. Let's go over the specs on this guy, and then we'll talk a little bit more how I feel about it. The original was 55 millimeters in length. This one comes in at 47. Weight on this guy is 75 grams. At its widest point, it's 15 millimeters. And at its thickest, it's 11 millimeters. Cap to cap, it's 13 millimeters, so just enough room for table spins. I believe the original came with two sets of buttons, one that allowed for table spins and one that didn't. But as you can see, no issues there. Let's take the caps off and have a look underneath. Cap 1, cap 2, and there you have it. As you can see, it's a press fit, or a, what do you call that? Slip fit. I'm not really sure. I've never taken the bearing out, and I can't see any glue. But that doesn't mean it's not there. Oh, and look at that. I pushed it right out. I don't know, but I don't see any glue in there. Any glue in the bearing? Huh. Maybe it is a press fit. That's interesting. I believe it is press fit. We're learning on the fly here. That's good to know. And there you have, I believe, what is 6 of 20 made. I could be wrong. I don't believe that's a date, because I believe it came out later in the year than that. And we have a stainless steel 10 ball in here, which is what it comes with straight from the factory, is what I was told. Which is surprising, because you'd think they'd just throw any old bearing in there, but this is actually quite nice. I am liking it. Let's get these back on. Cap 1, cap 2, screw, screw, screw. Satisfaction. Let's talk about these buttons for a second. They have been reworked from the originals. I believe Joshua Young from Spinetic Spinners did a little tweaking to them. If you don't know this already, Joshua was handling or helping with shipping, just to make it cheaper for people, instead of having it shipped from Australia. So I'm not sure how deep that partnership runs, but he did help work on the buttons. And if you know anything about Joshua or Spinetic Spinners, you know that he knows a thing or two about buttons and spinners. These are one of my favorite set of buttons. That's so comfortable. But yeah, these guys, I was actually kind of on the fence about them when I first got them. I don't know if I was just used to something else, but I felt like they were a little too deep and this lip was a little too much. But the more I use it, the more I'm coming to really like them. So for those of you that think you don't like a spinner right off the bat, or even the buttons, give it a little bit, you know. Don't be so quick to judge. Spinners are like people. Fidgeability. It is awesome. Extremely satisfying pulls. The spin feel and resonance, even the way it looks when spinning, is just right up my alley. It's ticking all the boxes. It's perfect for me. I'm really liking it. Pulling, super good, super nice. It's good. You can really get strong pulls, and you can really get into it with your finger and not worry about having a sharp corner or an edge get into your finger, because it's got that nice little notch right there, which makes it even better when fidgeting this way, because you get that nice little roll and pew, shoots right off. Very nice. That little notch is so good. It even allows you to pull from the opposite side that you normally pull from. Normally you're reaching over here, but you can get it right there and get a nice, really satisfying pull, which is rare for bars. Very nice fidgeter. Flicking, it's a good. As you know, I don't really flick too much. I feel like my flicks are not nearly as strong as they used to be. When you first start, I feel like that's what you always do. But as time went on, I just gradually turned into a puller. What else? Look at those arms. This little concave right there, you wouldn't think it'd do too much for the feel, but it really does. It's very nice. And it makes me really want a full-size version because I feel like you'd really feel that even more on the pulls. And you could come right across the arm. You can do it with this one, but you kind of get the button there too. And I feel with that arm a little further extended, you'd be getting more arm and less button, which would be really nice. Doesn't take away from the spin feel. It still feels great in hand, but I think I'd like a larger one too. The feel in hand on this guy is really quite nice with that polished finish. All the corners are very nicely rounded. Actually curious to see if the machine finished version has a chamfer and the polishing just rounds it out. So I would like to eventually get my hands on a machine finished version just so I could compare the two. With that rounding, there's no hot spots on it anywhere. Very comfortable. You don't have to worry about catching an edge or anything like that. And you're going to have a good time fidgeting with this guy. Now for the point of the review that I didn't really know how I was going to talk about. I wasn't sure if I was going to even talk about it, but we're going to do it anyway. For those of you who don't know, the pressure bar was inspired, I don't know why I put quotations on that, by none other than the iFidget. And while it was inspired by it, it ended up being something completely different and unique. The original design was by Nathan Benjamin. And for those of you who don't know who Nathan Benjamin is, you can get on Facebook and go through the history of it all and figure it out, but I'm not getting into that. And from Nathan, it got to Asenstu. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. He made the 3D rendering of it and got into Angelo's hands, and Angelo made the whole thing happen. I actually have a 3D printed version of the original that I got from Nathan Benjamin. I got this because it was an extra he threw in. I was buying something from him right around the time that Angelo was getting this made with him. And then he disappeared. I didn't get a hold of him. I bought some stuff off him. I couldn't find him. He was gone. He was having some issues. Regardless, he sent me some extras, and that's one of the things that I got. I hold no ill will towards Nathan. Mind you, I was pretty pissed off at the time, but I get it. Things in life happen. Life isn't perfect. I'm not making excuses for anybody, but it is what it is, and life goes on. Life's too short, right? But yeah, I would love to get a full-size version because you can really feel that dip on the 3D printed full-size version. And that in copper would be nice. Watch, when you spin it with the weights up, watch what happens. It goes nuts. You can spin it weights down, but if you flip them over, the balance is just too off. But you can expect from a 3D printed version with weights stuck in them. But yeah, I'd love to get my hands on a full size CU. And from what I understand, there's plenty of things to come, plenty of things in the works from Real Orbit, including a modular version, so you can switch out the weights and whatnot, which is kind of what Real Orbit is known for, with the inertia and what was the gemstone spinner they had. So it's what they're known for. So I was kind of expecting that. I thought that would probably have been the first one they put out, but I guess demand for the Mini was pretty high that they had no choice but to go with the demand. And from what I'm hearing, there's also going to be a size between the full and the Mini, which, to be perfectly honest with you, I think might be a little much. I don't know. I don't think that's really needed. If you're gonna do that, I would suggest making it like a thick or a thick and wide. Just make it different somehow. I think that size. I think you're getting carried away now when we're just making sizes to suit everybody's hands. Like, it's not a shoe. Um, you can't really do one size fits all, but I think two sizes is more than enough. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But I've been wrong before, so who knows? They might make it and make it exactly like they said they're going to do and have it the same thickness and length or whatever, and I might love it, so you never know. But that's pretty much it. I've rambled for long enough. I got nothing left. Um, you know the deal. Until next time, can I get that one? Live long and spin on. Peace.